Hello Altman Plants. Today we're going to talk about how to do these cycle counts in PocketEvo and make sure your inventory stay accurate. So the first thing we want to do is go into the cycle count on our main screen, and on this one I've actually already done a refresh, but every time you go in to do a cycle count you want to make sure you swipe down. If you look at the top you can see where my last refresh was just a minute ago, and so all of my inventory is up to date. There are two options on the bottom on how you can enter your cycle count information. The first is to scan, where it will pull up your camera and you can scan the barcode. It will pull up the item where you can enter your on-hand count. When you do enter the count, it will change the color on the screen to green so that it'll let you know that it confirmed that. The camera will come back up and then you can continue scanning, enter your next item, and continue to go on from there. So here you continue to scan items until you're finished, and what you'll want to do at the end is verify what you've scanned to make sure that there aren't any items that need to get removed from inventory. So I'm scrolling down until I get to the category of plants that I was scanning the cycle counts for. What you want to do to verify your counts is, once you've finished counting everything in that category, I'm scrolling down through the list until I get to that section that I've counted and making sure that there's nothing that it shouldn't be in my inventory. So here you can see the things I've counted. If they haven't turned green and I've counted everything in my store that are these 2-quart annuals, then anything that's still in the black color is something that I don't have on site because I didn't physically count. So those are items that I'd want to make sure and move to a 0 count to remove from my inventory so that they aren't showing up as an item that I have there when I don't physically have them. Once you're confident that you've got all of your counts how you need them to be, you want to go back to the top and you can swipe down and it will update the store data and submit all the counts that you've already done. The other way you can do this is to go back to the main menu and go to the PBS upload screen, and you'll be able to upload from there as well. What I'm doing quickly is I'm just going to scan an item so that I can have the count updated with the same number, and I'm going to go into the PBS upload off of the main screen and show you what it looks like to upload there. So here you can see that it's showing one item pending for count. Then you're just going to click your upload button there on the bottom and it'll process and show that it's uploading the data. One thing I do want to point out, and I'll show an example here in a second, is if you're entering scrap and doing cycle counts at the same time. I know we've had some questions on that, and what I'm going to do is go through and get an example. So I'll scan an item here in a second, we'll enter in some scrap, and then we'll come back and run both of them at the same time so that you can see what happens when you have scrap and a cycle count for the same item being submitted together. So here's our scrap getting entered. Now I'm going to go back into the upload screen so you can see where it's showing both the cycle count and scrap for the same item, and we're going to see what it does. So we've got 22 on hand. Our 22 count should stay the same, but we've got 1 scrap entered. So what do you think is going to happen here? Alright, so let's submit this. The upload is going to go through, then it's going to refresh the information, and when you do an upload it will ask you to sign out of the store. So once it finishes, I'm going to stay signed into the store though, so I can go back and we can check on what the quantity is. Now what we're going to see here is I'll scan the item and our counts are at 21 now, meaning that it uploaded our cycle count to 22, then it took the one from the scrap afterwards, so it dropped it to 21. If it would have done the scrap first, then the 22 cycle count would have processed and it would have stayed at that number. So if you're doing both, you need to make sure that you're pulling that scrap, running that report, and then entering your cycle counts to make sure that it's not lowering your number on hand if you're trying to run them both at the same time. And that's how you enter your cycle counts into PocketEvo. Making sure your inventory is accurate is critical in keeping your garden centers full and looking great. Thank you.